Om Stavakaya Dharmasya Sarvadharmaswarupine Stavakaya Dharmasya Sarvadharmaswarupine Avatar Varishtaya Ramakrishna Te Namah Niranjanam Nityamanantarupam Bhaktanukampadrita Vigraham Vai Niranjanam Nityamanantarupam Bhaktanukampadrita Vigraham Vai Ishavataram Parameshamidhyam Tam Ramakrishnam Sirasa Namami Asato ma sadgamaya Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya Mrityorma mritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us bow down to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God Incarnate, who is adored by all, pure, eternal, infinite by nature. Out of His infinite grace on the devotees, the Divine Supreme has assumed a human form in the form of Sri Ramakrishna. Let us bow down to Him. Let us try to dwell upon the personality of Sri Ramakrishna. Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme Godhead. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. Today's topic I am speaking, Sri Ramakrishna's masterly teachings. Last month also I spoke on the same subject. I am continuing the topic this month also. Sri Ramakrishna's teachings are well recorded in the Gospel. Sri Ramakrishna has dealt with various aspects of spiritual life and how to conduct oneself in one's life. Sri Ramakrishna himself passed through severe spiritual disciplines. For 12 long years, totally focusing his mind on the Divine Supreme. His only goal was to realize the divine truth. He wanted to experience the bliss of Divine Mother. who is nourishing the whole universe through her abundant grace and compassion, through her abundant love. The whole universe is the creation of the Divine Mother. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, to reach the abode of the Divine, the easiest path is to approach the Mother. The child can approach the Mother any time, and Mother is always ready to embrace, shower her grace any time. In fact, the Mother is supremely concerned about her progeny, about her children. But the children should realize the supreme importance of Mother's love and compassion. In spite of the abundance of love and compassion of the Divine Mother, still we see in the whole universe how people are suffering and suffering and suffering. There is nothing but suffering in this world. Nothing but suffering. Suffering in various ways. Physical suffering, mental suffering, all types of suffering. But these sufferings are given to us so that we may learn through sufferings. Sufferings are compared to fire. Fire has the burning power. Suffering burns the power of the impurities of the mind. Through repeated births, in order to harbor our never-ending desires, we have spoiled the mind. We have made the mind sick. So we are reaping the reaction, and that is suffering. Through suffering only, mind is purified. All the spiritual practices are meant for purification of the mind. Please note that very important point. Yogaha chitta vritti nirodhaha. That means mind is our greatest asset. God has given the most invaluable asset to us, and that is mind. But we are totally indifferent to nourish the mind, to educate the mind, to discipline the mind, to mind the focus on the reality. Consequently, we are putting blame on God Himself. Oh, what God is doing? I am suffering so much. Is God blind? If you don't believe in God, you are the loser. Don't think that you are teaching God. If you have no faith in God, be ready to suffer more and more. How long to suffer? Till you learn to have devotion and faith towards God. So, be aware of the function of the mind. Mind is generally restless. It is sometimes described as a drunken monkey sitting on the nest of fiery red ants. All the misery one undergoes in the course of life is attributed to a hyperactive and restless mind. It is said, more precious than gold or silver or diamonds, more precious than any kind of material wealth, our greatest wealth, the greatest friend, and indeed the greatest helper is our own mind. Our own mind. Atmaiva hi bandhuratmanaha. Sri Krishna says in the Gita, Uddhared atmanatmanam atmaiva bandhu atmaiva vipuratmanaha. Atman namasadayet. Don't neglect the mind and don't dump the mind into dirty things. You have to raise your mind yourself. You should understand how the mind helps you. That's a very important point. In our mind we have an ally. It is an ever ready friend, 24 hours of the day and night. Mind is always with us. Even when we are alone, abandoned, helpless, or when we are in dire distress, or in a dangerous predicament, our mind is there to help. Ever ready at hand to guide us and to show us ways and means to overcome any situation. So, we should never underestimate the value of mind as a precious friend and as our greatest well-wisher. It is the source of all that is good. Know this as a fact. Treat your mind as such and utilize it as such. Then you will find yourself acting in the way of the wise. That means we have to be very alert and smart and intelligent to make the mind behave properly. Mind behaves like an enemy when you do not give proper attention about disciplining it. It may become your greatest liability. That can happen only due to your own stupidness and foolishness and thoughtlessness. The result is you will always be struggling with your mind. Struggling. What do you normally do? You blame your mind. I want to be good, but my mind does not allow me. I'm actually good, and it is my mind that is dragging me down. My mind is always doing this. It is always doing that. We go on grumbling in this way, grumbling, heaping all blame on our mind. It is not so. On the contrary, we do not give our mind a chance. We do not understand how precious it is. Mind is God's own special gift to mankind. It is the elevator that alone can lift us up and grant us liberation. One achieves liberation only through the mind. One can go beyond the mind through the mind only. So mind is a gateway. Look at the highly successful craftsmen, such as surgeons, engineers, painters, or sculptors. See how well they take care of their instruments. You need good instruments to create good things. Your mind is your instrument. Take care of it and treat it well, and it will serve you. It is not really difficult to understand the mind in order to master it. True mind and deluded mind are two aspects of the mind. Deluded mind is the forgetful and disturbed mind. Disturbances arise from the memory of negative impressions gathered and embedded in the mind. The basis of true mind is awakened understanding arising from mindful observation. It is mindfulness that brings out the light which exists in the deluded mind so that life can be revealed in its reality. In that light, confusion dissipates while understanding emerges. Wrong views are transformed into clear, tranquil, and true mind. When one's mindful observation is born, it will penetrate the object of observation, illuminate it, and gradually reveal its true nature. The true mind rises from a deluded mind. Things in their true nature and illusions are both of the same basic substance. That's why practice such as calm contemplation, uninvolved observation, and meditation are all means of transforming a deluded mind, and is not a matter of seeking for a true mind elsewhere. Just as the surface of a rough sea, as well as that of a calm sea, are manifestations of the same sea, true mind does not exist in isolation as a separate entity from a deluded mind. Both states are two aspects of the same mind. Understanding this will help us to see a friend in our mind and dispel the illusion that we harbor, that it is our enemy. The refinement and sublimation of personality depends upon cultivation of virtuous qualities. If you read some Daivi Sampad Vibhaga Yoga in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna clearly explains how we should cultivate good virtues. There lay the foundation stone for marvelous spiritual life. ahimsa, satyam, akrodaha. A list of virtues are given there. Each one virtue is so great, so sublime, so uplifting. Even while process of practicing them, you feel the joy of it. So, you can shape your personality in a better way and transform it into a glorious one. But we are wasting our mind in dirty things and useless things of the world and making it more and more dirty, more and more unusable. The type of activities we are doing every day, how they are degrading our mind. We should observe and take immediate steps to stop them. Otherwise, mind will be ruined. So, eminence and nobility of personality is an invaluable asset which leads to success in all domains of the physical, worldly, and spiritual life. Wealth, materialistic tools, or support and cooperation of others alone is not sufficient for worthwhile achievements. These resources are useful and could be necessary, but above all this, the master key is sublimity of one's own personality. How to refine the talents, how to develop an elevated personality, how to endow it with virtuous qualities and potentialities. This is the paramount question, the central focus of the art of living. Art of living. You are supposed to know it. Do not say, I didn't know. That won't work. Finding its methodology and proceeding accordingly is indeed like achieving at least half the goal towards a brilliant and fulfilling life. Jivan sadhana means transmutation and enhancement of potentialities, abilities, and conduct by self-endeavor. We have to make effort. Idleness won't do. You have to act. The subtle mind, the subtle mental imprints of the previous lives in the chain of 8400,000 life forms continue to influence one's tendencies in the human life as well. As a result, in the crude state of human life, one's cravings, behavior, and actions are often driven by beastly instincts and negative mental tendencies. Beastly instincts. If you see every day the news, every day there are some ghastly news, unbelievable news. Murdering, killing, impulse of anger. Too terrible. For silly argument, they kill the person. Father killing the son, husband killing the wife, wife killing the husband, mother killing the child, child killing the mother. All these things we are seeing today in modern world. With boasting development of technology. and development of science. What's the use? If you can't handle your family properly, if you don't control your mind properly, what's the use of all these developments? Meaningless. Until uprooted and thrown out, these evil impressions on the mind hinder the refinement of personality. Each one's mind is in various level of impurities. Everyone is loaded with so much of impurities. He'll be shocked. He'll be terribly shocked to hear, to see how his mind has been downgraded so much when you try to discipline the mind. Even if you sit for a so-called meditation for 5 minutes, you can imagine how in innumerable ways the mind diverts your attention. You are unable to sit even for 5 minutes. You simply get out. That shows the state of mind. Elimination of these untoward, negative and pernicious instincts, habits and desires by untiring efforts and simultaneous cultivation of ennobling character and deeds is the real sadhana of human life. Sadhana. Are we doing practice? Even remembering little of God is too difficult for us. We have million excuses for doing spiritual practices. Million. So, sadhana, practice, abhyasa yoga. Lord Krishna very emphatically, assuredly has said in the Bhagavad Gita, we should undergo abhyasa yoga. By constantly doing, working hard, you can achieve. This sadhana practice is no less exacting than taming and training a wild animal, and to engage it in constructive activities as per our will. As crude metal from the mines is melted and refined in the fire before it could be processed to make shining ornaments, likewise the impurities of the bad samskaras need to be burnt out in the fire of devoted ascetic practices of self-restraint and spiritual disciplines. The endeavors towards self-refinement are simultaneously accompanied by those of self-development through cultivation of noble qualities. Don't simply keep on telling, oh, my tendency is to become anger. So what? Should people come and surrender to you? You condemn yourself for that dirty tendency of anger. People boast sometimes, oh, I am very short-tempered. He has to slap himself for that. So, the endeavors towards self-refinement are simultaneously accompanied by those of self-development through cultivation of noble qualities, upright conduct and character and values of human life. This is how we can manufacture and design the precious jewels from the gold mine of capabilities gifted to us by nature. We should root out from the field of our life all the thorny weeds of evil tendencies and weaknesses of our nature and remold ourselves as civilized and cultured human beings. Sadhana, practice, is the key to paranormal attainments and preeminent success in human life. Jivan sadhana should be an integral part of our lives. For this, we should introspect and analyze our thoughts, our conduct, and our activities impartially and thoroughly. Be very strict in enforcing these things in your mind. We should also develop positive attitude and sincerely endeavor to uproot the infirmities, untoward and evil tendencies lying dormant within us. The more you are focused on spiritual practices, all these negative samskaras, they jump up to the surface. They jump really. You must be courageous and bold to crush these evil tendencies. You must be really very hard, like diamond. This process of constant self-effort, of gradual refinement and upliftment, also implies conscious self-development, widening of outlook, and altruistic involvement in the sorrows and joys of others. Self-development is achieved by substitution of selfishness by selflessness. This is what leads to supernormal attainments and awakening of divinity in the human heart. The cornerstone of overall self-transformation is transformation of the attitude. Change your outlook towards yourself. Think and feel yourself not as a gross body, but immortal soul. For which this life and the body is only a sojourn in the infinite journey. Shundvantu Vishve Amritasya Putraha. The Upanishad, how nicely declares Amritasya Putraha. We are children of immortality. Children of immortality. You are born for this self-realization, for enlightenment, unbounded spiritual progress. No doubt, you should take care of healthy sustenance of the body. But don't confine the goal of your life only to blindly pursue after the possession of its comforts and pleasures. Your attitude should be eating to survive and not surviving to eat. That's very important. Take proper care of the body as an instrument for the optimum use of the faculties of your sense organs and the mind. Change your views and behavior on the personal and social fronts of life accordingly. Once you turn your attention inward and look at yourself as a soul, Atman, you will find marvelous solutions to all your problems and worries. The door of immense joy and progress will be wide open before you. As I said earlier, life is a precious gift. Life is a chance given to us by the supreme love and compassion of the divine. Don't let worldly allurements and attachments overpower and overshadow the beatitude and sublimity of your real self and the pristine dignity of your life. Look at this life of Saint Tulsidas. When he was blindly driven by sensual attractions and attachments, he received nothing but disdain, scorn and agony. But once his inner self was lit by the light of devotion to God, the same man became the great venerable Saint Tulsidas, the author of the great holy Ramcharitmanas of immortal glory. But see, his devotion was not like ours. We chant the mantras, rotate the rosary, but our minds remain restive and unstable, roving around our tensions, desires, and whatnot. His was a total self-surrender. Nothing mattered to him except the devotion to Lord Ram. Such was the potency of his inner fervor for his deity, that it could force Lord Ram himself to appear before him and bless him in his embodied form. Tulsidas did have the vision of the Sri Ramchandra. Mahabharata, probably you are all aware of it, great epic, is said to be the greatest war ever fought on this earth. You should know that the first step towards spiritual upliftment is to fight this gigantic war yourself in the battlefield of your own psyche, to wipe out its accumulated vices and tendencies. Fight the Mahabharata within yourself. Our lives remain enslaved to the insane appetites and tendencies of the mind until and unless we are able to win this perpetual war against hostile hordes of bad samskaras entrenched within us. Winning this war means attaining ultimate victory, becoming omnipotent. Those who conquer their minds are called Manasvi. Success lies at their feet. They are the ones who become truly great personalities, saints, divine beings. If you care and aspire for elevation to higher domains in life, join the great battle against the evils lodged within you. The first step towards triumph in this battle is the adoption of these principles of simple living and high thinking. And that is possible when you come in contact with holy association, when you participate in spiritual retreats, and when you are sincere and honest. You can make impossible possible. That's the beauty of spiritual life. So, we should rise and march towards higher goals. If you adopt the principles of simple living and high thinking, you would soon start attaining rapid progress in life. Simplicity of lifestyle will automatically eliminate your sense of scarcity. This, together with the positive and constructive transformation of your thinking and feelings, will enable you to make constructive use of whatever resources you have. You will be happier with the same set of tools, facilities and resources you had earlier. Not only that, by prudent use of your potentials, you will also be able to help others. Even if you are not able to go out and work for social service or offer visible help to others, you must keep your thoughts open for that. Think good. Think high. Think like the great, the wise. Your imaginations, your aspirations must now be directed towards better, brighter and nobler objectives. Leave the slippery path of decline. Come out of the hell and look at beauty of the heaven. Live for ultimate salvation. Salvation implies emancipation from all evils, sensual attractions, selfish attachments, illusions and sufferings. Moving towards divine paradise means pursuing those ideals and principles which bestow everlasting peace, unalloyed joy, pure knowledge and soul contentment. Start bringing about the needed change in your thinking, living, behavior, actions from this very moment, so that you could march ahead towards the attainment of the preeminent goal of life. In human life, hope and despair alternate like day and night. Hope augments our vitality, whereas despair drains off our life energy, pushes us down in the dungeon of despondency and darkness. Sometimes despair even pushes a person to commit suicide. On the other hand, a terminally sick person may start healing by vibrations of prayers of hope and health. Therefore, a person desirous of health, happiness and peace must not allow himself to become a helpless victim of the dread disease of despair. Nirasha. Despair to some extent is related to mental weakness caused by some malfunctioning in the body. Sometimes there are invisible changes in the internal harmony of the body. This in turn affects the mental state of a person. Even a minor biological disturbance may affect the mind. Chronic illness can also cause a feeling of hopelessness. Sometimes moods of despair and worry overtake us due to constipation, polluted air and lack of rest, busy life, etc., etc. But causes like these can be rectified with a little common sense. For example, by following the laws of nature, taking recourse to a balanced routine and regular exercise, deep breathing, walking, etc. in clean surroundings. The latter cures the mind also. Sometimes despair is also related to the habitually negative mental disposition of a person. Whatever the cause or causes, it is not only possible to save oneself from prolonged moods of despondency, but also to keep it away altogether. To some extent, the cause of our despair is our refusal to accept the reality of hard facts of life. A person has his own likes and dislikes, but he should not expect the world to dance to his tune. Of course, one is free to have his own preferences, but it is naive to expect others to behave according to his wishes, whims and fancies. This world is run by universal laws of diversity and change. We encounter situations and persons which are not always to our liking. All forms and names in this world of ever changing flux and form are evanescent. whether they appear pleasurable or painful to us individually. Wisdom lies in gladly or stoically accepting whatever the Godhead of life gives us. Wellness or illness, pleasure or pain, profit or loss, etc. and death, which is a gateway to greater life on the other side of the curtain. We can live peacefully and purposefully only when all life situations are accepted as they are, their present moment reality. It's well nigh impossible that during the whole span of life one doesn't encounter any odds. If you have been overwhelmed by adversity, have been denied the fulfillment of your desires, and see no ray of hope, and then there is only one way of salvation. Get up and move ahead, accepting the challenges and hardships of life. Accept them. Then only you will be given the wisdom and strength to reach your goal. Many people become chronically remorseful and unforgiving by thinking about the mistakes committed by them in the past, or the disrespect shown or harm done to them by others. Others get worried by imagining the dangers of future. But both these conditions are signs of mental ill health. Remembering and thinking about regrettable incidents of the past and getting worried is like exhuming a dead body. The remedy lies in forgetting and forgiving. Situations turn out to be phantoms. Future will reveal itself in its own time. If at all, one has to think of the future. Let one visualize it positively. Whatever moments of happiness and peace come in living present must be embraced and utilized fully. It is not at all possible that a person is surrounded by all the time by adversity and there is perpetual darkness. There is certainly sunny side of life. We should appreciate and concentrate on these positive aspects. If we do so, despair will disappear. But normally we worry about the shadowy side of the life, and as a consequence what we get is dark despair. Despair results from an attitude of stupid selfishness. Those who are driven by selfish motives and those who keep themselves busy throughout life in the pursuit of their own selfish ends become chronic victims of despair, dissatisfaction and worry. This is a psychological truth. On the other hand, people who are motivated towards welfare and service of others are vibrantly alive with hope, enthusiasm and happiness. Therefore, we can get rid of despair by serving others with love and helping the needy. Despair keeps away from the life of other-centered persons. Even if one is able to grab the biggest selfish end, he will still feel a void in his life, which will give rise to despair and despondency. Selfish life is a fertile ground for despair. Sometimes despair is also caused by a fixed mechanical routine. Often people, after retiring from government jobs, pass their remaining life in despair. Similarly, people who are self-employed or keep themselves totally engaged in the soul-killing routine without any worthwhile, soul-nurturing interests like art, music, literature, games, entertainment, social contact, travel, pilgrimage, religious rites, etc., also become victims of suffocating despair. Despair is also caused by too much self-centeredness and a nagging sense of self-reproach. It is just human to be lured into unethical, immoral acts through ignorance or under baneful influences. And the only true repentance for these is not to repeat them by getting rid of the causes and firmly taking to righteous way of life. Constant brooding and harboring a constant sense of guilt and self-condemnation pushes one into the bottomless, dark pit of despondency and despair. This is Swami Vivekananda used to say, the remedy of weakness is not by brooding over weakness, but thinking of strength. Do not allow yourself to be a permanent hostage to the demon of despair. Be free. Get going. And firmly tread the path towards self-awareness and self-enlightenment. Firmness is important. Determination is required. Strong will is required. Then you can really step up in spiritual life. Time is passing away. Waste no more time. Waste no more time. Whatever the time we have with us, we must use them properly. We are to blame for anything that happens to us. So, great responsibility is on every one of us. Every individual has to make effort. Effort, Purusha Prayatna, very important. It was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon when Sri Ramakrishna arrived in Calcutta to attend the annual festival of the Brahma Samaj, which was to be celebrated at Manilal Malik's house. Besides Yam and other devotees of the Master, Vijay Goswami and a number of Brahmos were present. Elaborate arrangements had been made to make the occasion a success. Vijay was to conduct the worship. The Kathak recited the life of Prahlad from the Puran. Its substance was as follows. Hiranyakashipu, Prahlad's father, was king of the demons. He bore great malice towards God and puts his own son through endless tortures for leading a religious life. Afflicted by his father, Prahlad prayed to God, O God, please give my father holy inclinations. At these words, Sri Ramakrishna wept. He went into an ecstatic mood. Afterwards he began to talk to the devotees. Sri Ramakrishna said, well, bhakti is the only essential thing. One obtains love of God by constantly chanting His name and singing His glories. Oh, what a devotee Shivanath is. He is soaked in the love of God, like a cheesecake in syrup. Shri Krishna also says the same thing in the Bhagavad Gita. Sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara. All the time remember me and do your duty. Everything will be taken care of. Sri Ramakrishna said, let me tell you one thing. God can be seen. These are the words of Sri Ramakrishna in the Gospel. God can be seen. The Vedas say that God is beyond mind and speech. The meaning of this is that God is unknown to the mind, attached to worldly objects. Vaishnavacharan used to say, God is known by the mind and intellect that are pure. Therefore, it is necessary to seek the company of holy men, practice prayer, and listen to the instruction of the Guru. These purify the mind. Then one sees God. Dirt can be removed from water by a purifying agent. Then one sees one's reflection in it. One cannot see one's face in a mirror if the mirror is covered with dirt. After the purification of the heart, one obtains divine love. Then one sees God through His grace. Sri Ramakrishna said to Vijay, will you tell me one thing? Why did you harp so much on sin? By repeating 100 times, I am a sinner, I am a sinner, I am a sinner. Do you know what will happen? One verily becomes a sinner. One should have such faith as to be able to say, what? I have taken the name of God, and how can I be a sinner? God is our Father and Mother. Jagat Pita, Jagan Mata. Tell Him, O Lord, I have committed sins, but I won't repeat them. That's very important. Not repeating condones all your sins. Chant His name and purify your body and mind. Purify your tongue by singing God's holy name. The tongue. The greatest mischief is done by the tongue. How we often use this tongue for criticizing others. Tasting bad things. So, every sense organ must be kept clean. The one way of keeping the tongue clean is, don't engage the tongue in idle gossiping or useless chattering. Engage the tongue in repeating God's name. Do bhajans. Read the inspiring spiritual talks, teachings of the great master. Be conscious of doing everything positively. And surrender yourself, body and mind, at the feet of God. Then you will see wonder of wonders. And that is, you will experience the joy of peace and blessedness. Peace and blessedness. So let us pray to Sri Ramakrishna, so that our devotion to Him be pure. Let us devote our hearts at the feet of the divine feet of Sri Ramakrishna and invoke his blessings. Sri Ramakrishna is always gracious. He says, if a devotee comes one step towards God, God runs towards him 9 steps. God moves towards him faster than the devotee moving towards God. Moving towards God means engaging your mind in spiritual practices. Focus your mind on purifying the mind. Not dumping more and more impurities, which is already loaded with impurities. So, let us pray to God to give us wisdom to practice spirituality and to achieve the goal. Thank you very much.
Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunakto Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. May the Divine Spirit protect us, guide us, give us strength and right understanding. May we not hate one another. May love and harmony be with us all. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. May the Divine Lord protect us. May He nourish us. May we work in harmony with great vigor. May our study be illuminating and fruitful. May we not hate each other. Peace, peace, peace be unto all.